So Ugodre Obi-chukwu is the founder and CEO of Nairametrics Financial Advocates, a leading authority on Nigeria's financial and economic sectors. A chartered accountant with extensive experience, Ugodre has spearheaded significant business transformations and strategic reorganizations, enhancing operational efficiency and profitability. His leadership of Nairametrics has transformed the platform into a globally recognized source for economic analysis and financial literacy. Ugodre is an eloquent speaker and host of popular financial radio shows on Lagos Talks 91.3 FM and Classic FM 97.3. Ugo also hosts several influential podcast shows covering the capital markets and investor education. His influential work in the financial sector has earned him several awards and recognitions. He is also the board chairman at Poshfield. Please put your hands together for that. He's going to be speaking on a topic that couldn't have been more, timed. And like I said yesterday, one thing that we know about him is that he doesn't just talk numbers. He translates markets into moves. So I encourage you to sit up for that, for this session, all right? Because he's going to be speaking on positioning for profit, how to win big in real estate amidst 2025's economic changes. Ladies and gentlemen, please make me welcome, or help me welcome, Dr. Mr. Ugodre Obi-chukwu Nwam Nai Ndewo.
So I accept the doctor. Is that okay? Our university has given me a PhD. Do I use this? Okay. All right. Good evening, everybody. Good to see so many beautiful faces. I like the fact that we're all here because it means that for you to have left everything you're doing on a Sunday to be here, it means you all want to make money, isn't it? Huh? Because you could have been doing other things. You could have been giving all your money to your pastor as tithes. But you're here to make money so that you can go and give him. Huh? I was just kidding. All right. Great to be here. And let me start by thanking the organizers of this event, Poshfield, for all the good work they've been doing. Been following them for some months now, and it's amazing how much impact they are making. And no surprises that I accepted to be part of the team as well. And in fact, I had to cut short my trip just to be here today because I was meant to be back later this week. So I was out of the country for a very important meeting. So today I'll just take us through I like to talk about mostly the Nigerian economy in general, but I think I'll focus a lot on investing, since that's what we're here to talk about. But you see, you cannot invest in Nigeria. You want to be an investor anywhere in the world in this time and age, and you don't take into account what is happening around the world. Gone are the days when you're just a trader in OKR market and you're just buying and selling, and you think that what is happening in Israel or what is happening in England does not affect you. So the world is such a very small place now that anything that happens anywhere can be the deciding factor for your business. And we've seen a lot of people seize this opportunity, people who are very smart at not just following the numbers, but following the stories ahead of the numbers. So because they are very abreast with current affairs, they know when to get in and they know when to get out. Last year, around November, a certain billionaire, one of the richest men in the world, all of a sudden just started selling his stocks. And people were wondering, why is this man selling his stocks? After all, Donald Trump was just made president. He just got elected. And for those who follow American politics, Donald Trump is quite synonymous with stock market growth. So the last time he was in the presidency, the American stock market did pretty well. And so why would you be selling your stocks when Donald Trump has just been made president. But that man just thinks very differently. He's a bit of a contrarian. And so he sold all his stocks. And then you know what he did? And then he came back in March and in April and he started buying. Now what happened? The man knew that Trump will come in and unleash chaos and uncertainty. And when he unleashes chaos and uncertainty, everybody sells. Because they are what? They are afraid. And then it is when they are afraid that the man is very bold. It's when you pull out bold that he is afraid. That's what he usually says. That man's name is Warren Buffett. I'm sure you heard a lot about him yesterday. He's 90-something years old. Imagine a 90-something-year-old man can still be this wise. When he's supposed to be in retirement, even though yesterday he announced his retirement after 50 years of being the CEO of his company, of 60 years actually. So why was he that smart? He was smart because he was able to read current affairs. He was able to follow the information and he knew what was going to happen. And that's usually the case. That's usually the difference between people who make money and people who lose money. I have several stories like that to tell. One of these days I'll tell you guys the story. It's my slide. Okay. I will try and run through where's the pointer? Where am I pointing? Here or here? Or just press? Okay, so I'll just run through this. I always like using cartoons sometimes. You know, cartoons tell a lot of stories. You know? You can see... This is Donald Trump, of course. We all know what's going on with tariffs. How he's shaking the whole world with tariffs. So for those who don't understand what it means, basically, Donald Trump is telling every country that they are going to pay a high tariff for importing things into their country, into America. And so this is rattling the whole world because once America starts to pay, once it becomes very expensive to export into America, it's very likely that it will affect the entire world. And when it affects the entire world, it can affect growth globally. And so that's a huge challenge. And that's why you're seeing a lot of people sell off because they're worried. America is the largest country in the world when it comes to consumption. They're the ones that spend the most. And so when you make things very expensive for them, then it means they won't be able to buy. And if they are not able to buy, what happens? It affects global economic growth. And when it affects global economic growth, businesses start to lose money. And so that's why when he unleashed this so-called chaos, you can see what I like about this cartoon is that it's a boomerang, isn't it? Because when you throw a boomerang, what happens? It comes back to you. So a lot of people see it as a very stupid mistake that he's made, even though now you're seeing that he's taking it back. Because how do you think you can take on China? China is not China of 20 years ago. China is a big country now, big economy. China is very innovative as well. And so it's as if that move that he made somehow backfired. Then apart from that, Trump as well has now stopped DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is what dominated the world over the last 10 years. Where you see men wearing skirts and women, turning into men and men turning into women. So in the previous order, it was allowed, it was acceptable. They allowed people to be who they want to be. But Donald Trump has come and said, no, it can't be like that anymore. So there are some states you go to abroad in the US, when you go into the bathroom, there's no male, there's no female. Then there's male, female, and then there's others. Initially, you would think whether that others is a goat and a dog. It's human being, but it's anything you want to call yourself, you can enter there. So Donald Trump has come and he has scattered that one for them. Then of course, this is Israel. We all know what's going on with the war with Palestine. And then here, what do you think is happening here? He's sending all of us back to our country. Immigration, you can see him flinging away the aeroplane because he doesn't want
immigrants in his country anymore, especially immigrants that he feels that are poor. Because America these days want people that are rich. So now he even had to launch his golden card. I think they call it golden card. $5 million. You can see. Upon say they don't want people, but they want people that have what? Have money. So they don't want people that don't have money, which is why we're all here. Because you see this world we're in. This world is for people that have money. Because the way the world is designed, people that have money would always continue to have money. People that are poor will continue to remain poor. If you like, go to 50 churches and 10 mosques. If you like, combine them, you will continue to be poor. So the only way you can be rich is if you work yourself out of being poor. You have to be very smart about it. You have to work hard. You have to have all sorts of information. Attend events like this because you never know where the door will open for you. Right? And you can see, and this is Donald Trump as well. You know, that's the problem with tariff. When you're throwing it at people, what's happening? It's coming back at you. That's why I like cartoons. Cartoons just tell the whole story without even explaining anything to you, as you can see. So, but what is at stake here? Donald Trump wants America to be a superpower. It can't happen again now. They can't be the only superpower.
No.
Is it possible?
No.
No. Other countries are rising. China is rising. Europe is also rising. In fact, he has even rattled Europe now because Europe now, they are now reinvigorated. Africa, uncle.
Burkina Faso.
At least Burkina Faso is making mouths now. They never get time for the guy yet. When they have time for him, they'll come for him. I like what he's doing, but trust me, they don't have time for him yet. The country is too small for them to be worried about. There are too many issues. In fact, Congo is even a more lucrative country than Burkina Faso. So, but we like what he's doing because at least he's making Africans believe in strong leadership. And it also shows that leadership is all we lack in this continent, isn't it? That's what we don't have. Because if we have leaders that are, that are serious, and it really doesn't matter whether it's a democracy, whether it's we bring back a king and queens and obas and co, or whether it's even our pastors that or religion, whatever it is. The most important thing is just having leaders that are happy to deliver. But so this is basically what Trump is trying to do. Trump wants to basically change how the world is because he feels like he's no longer favoring America. But that's not possible now. Things have changed. Countries have to stand up for themselves. And because of everything that he said, the global economic growth is likely to slow. Now, what does this mean? This is very important. You see this chart here. You see these two countries, China and India. If China and India are not growing, that's a big problem for us here in Nigeria. It's a big problem for us around the world. In fact, because these numbers were revised downwards, because they were actually revised downwards, that's why crude oil prices has done what? Has gone down. You see how you're just here drinking your water. People are already deciding how much this water is going to cost next week. Without you even knowing. Because what has happened is that crude oil prices have gone down. In Nigeria, it has two implications. One, petrol costs will likely go down because Dangote will come out next week and say he has reduced fuel price. You start praying for him as if you think he knows you exist, but you be praying for him. Thank God for Dangote. Then exchange rate will now be going to 1.6 something to 1.7. You now start cursing Tinubu as if it's Tinubu that caused it. You don't know that this is the problem here. Because the people that set crude oil prices, they've already determined that because of this projection from the IMF. I was at the IMF last 2 weeks when they gave out this thing. Everywhere was quiet. Because it was a problem, because it means that the global economic growth is likely to slow down. But some of us were thinking, where is the opportunity? Because that's what we should be thinking about.
And that's why we're here, so that we can discuss these things and you can understand when you see some kind of numbers, you understand what it means and how to find opportunities, especially for real estate. And you can go on and on. Look at Ghana. Ghana is projected to grow faster than Nigeria at 4%. See Nigeria up there, 3%. See the rest of African countries, 3.8%. Will be growing faster than Nigeria. Because we want investors in Nigeria, Habi. So and investors will only go to where they have fast GDP growth rate. And so if our GDP growth rate is expected to be slow, that's not good. Some of us challenged them at the IMF. We said, you people, why are you always giving Nigeria slow GDP growth rate? And your numbers are never correct. Because we always often do what? Do better. They said, well, it is their projection. And so what this now means is that there might be a delay for foreign investors to come in. And we go on and on. So we come to Nigeria itself. I have to go back to that slide. Okay. So what do you think describes an average Nigerian today? Is this somebody who is suffering and smiling? Is this somebody who is not happy, like this young man? Or is this somebody who is just, I don't care, I just want to, so long as I do my Instagram video and post it, let there just be light for me to take picture and for me to charge my phone and rub my powder and snap my picture and post it. Everything is okay. Content. So what do you think describes a Nigerian today? If it's suffering and smiling, raise your hands up. Let me see. All of the above. So we are all experiencing these things today. And you know, fella in the 70s said we were suffering and smiling. We are still doing it today. People are not even creating content out of suffering. Hey? Out of suffering, they are not creating content. And then we will consume it and we will laugh. We say this Nigeria self. And then we'll start forwarding it to everybody. That's actually how Nigerians reduce their attention. Otherwise, we'll die in this country. Like I said last year, I said, it's only in this is the only country. In fact, somebody also said it. A foreign investor told me, said, I've never seen a country where you remove fuel subsidy, you increase electricity prices, your exchange rate fall by over 60%, and you people are still okay. You people have not rioted. You have not taken to the streets. I said it because of Instagram. Oh, thank God for Instagram and WhatsApp. Because if you want to vex, by the time you see that WhatsApp message or TikTok, you start laughing. Or you watch Sabinus, you relate with him. You see that not only you, they suffer. But even investor, they suffer. Abi? That's why these days content creators are the ones that are making all the money. Everybody wants to be a content creator. Go and check your child in school. Maybe if you know in those days when they give us form to write what you want to be, we used to write, I want to be a scientist, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to go to the moon. These days is, I want to be a content creator. Ha! How will you make money from that? Who is your role model? It says Bob Risky. Okay? People are laughing. That's the reality. Am I lying? Reality. Sometimes sit down and talk to children. They will tell you. But today, the Nigerian today, from my own descriptions, fit all of these things. The Nigerian today is price conscious and value driven. It's important for you all to know because I believe everybody here is a business person, right? Either you're a businessman or you have a 9-to-5 job. But understand that the Nigerian consumer today is price conscious, value driven, has a survival mindset. The average Nigerian just wants to survive. Nobody won't die. You know, if it's abroad like this, that we're facing this type of economy, people just go to 10 million bridge and don't fall. The suicide rate will be high, but in Nigeria, suicide rate how? Who won't die? No. when we have not shot that video you want to shoot. It's not possible now. Because we have a what? Survival mindset. And then we're also politically and socially careful. When you're going to market people, don't bring politics in. When they are discussing politics and they ask you, Madam Insurance, what do you think about the president? Madam, when they ask you that question, you say, sorry, I'm not into politics. So, did you vote last year? I was not in the country. That's your response. Because you don't know who you go offend. So you go and tell the person I voted for Tinubu, hey, you're the ones ruining this country. If you say I voted for Obi and you want to sell something to me, do you see that? So you have to understand that the consumer is politically and socially conscious. So be careful how you deal with that person. Then of course, they're also community driven. Look at us here. This is a community. So consumers are happy when products that are sold to them are community based. Everybody in the community understands it. It's easier to market things like that to them than to market to them individually. And of course, a lot of Nigerians are very health conscious these days. Everybody now wants to do gym. Maybe it's because of TikTok, I don't know, but everybody's doing gym. Everybody's drinking smoothie. It's for content. I think you know what's up. Because there's a way you look, the content will not blow. So you have to look a certain way. So people are very health conscious now. There's even Coke, there's a way they market their Coke. You don't notice a Coke bottle done they small too. Them too, they are aware. So you need to understand that a lot of consumers are what health conscious. So when you're packaging your products, have this at the back of your mind. Don't just sell things anyhow to people. Understand that the Nigerian customer has changed because of the way the economy has changed us. You know, when they show you pepper like this, you don't go be the same person, Abi. Possible now because you have seen way, so you'll be smarter, you change. So Nigerian consumers have changed. Then Nigerian consumers are digitally and mobile first. They want to buy things on their phone. They want to be able to communicate. And it's very easy to search. I always tell people these days, you better go and check your internet profile. In fact, sometimes do yourself a favor. Just go to Google and type your name. You might be surprised what you see about yourself. You go, no, say, wahala deo. And you know what's very funny? When you're applying for visas, you think they don't check? They check. That's the first thing they check. They just Google you. It's as simple as that. If they Google you, and your name is Ifoma, and then maybe Ifoma Johnson is your name, and then they now Google you, they now see Ifi for all, sexy mama, as your TikTok. Would they give you visa? Because that's the first thing that popped up. But if they see Ifoma Johnson, career development expert, they now see your LinkedIn where you've been writing a lot of posts. See you in picture as you dress like now. If you come to this event, this content now. If you have not snapped yourself here, you're not even serious. You don't even know why you're here. Because you should be in front of this place and do a snap. Yes. And post it on your LinkedIn. It was a very eventful summit I attended at the Poshfield Estate. I learned that in this world where the economy is uncertain, in an uncertain economy, you have to, you know all those big grammar. And this ChatGPT can even write it for you. Just tell her, write out for me like this. You go write out. Don't once you put it like this, people will think that it's you that wrote it. They will now start liking it. They will now start commenting. Then you now put a fine picture of you, as if it's you that even organized the event. Were they there? No. So because the consumer of today is what? Digitally mobile. All right. Somebody asked me as well, what do Tinubu want? I've never asked you that question before. Sometimes people are wondering, is this man for us or against us? I don't know. Anti-insurance, when they ask you political question, you say what? I don't know. Me, I'm not for or against. My own is just that according to what I read, because I'm telling you now, this one that there's camera in front of me, I'm not against anybody. I'm in support. I'm for everyone. How did Buhari say that thing again? I'm for nobody. That's one of the best speeches. How to end the speech. I'm for everyone. I belong to everybody, and I belong to whatever that thing means. Today I don't know, but I like the way he ended. So you cannot owe me. But this is the sort of president we have. This is him. Now, why is it important to you? You need to understand this part. He's boldly market-oriented. He's fiscal and discipline as with safety nets, infrastructure-led. So I'll explain these things now. Under here, boldly market-oriented. What it means is that you have a president that is happy to allow the market to dictate prices. No more price fixing. That is why there's no fuel subsidy. That is why electricity prices is gone. So long as he believes that market should determine price. He never used to be like that, really. But when he was governor, it wasn't really that way. But now he has changed. So that's the economy you're in. And so when you have a president that is like that, it tends to change how consumers will buy goods and how people will sell goods, because now it encourages a lot of competition. Today, in the supermarket, I went to sparkle my daughter. As you're going there, you're seeing made in Nigeria, you're seeing foreign. What will you check? Before, once you see made in Nigeria, you see foreign, you will just take foreign and be going. Now, when you see made in Nigeria and foreign, you do what? Check price. So long as they write milk and milk for you, regardless of the type of milk, you just check the price. You carry on what and go. Because you have a leader that has changed how things work. That's his style. And of course, fiscal and discipline means the government go spend. Madam, it's you that use chop. I did not say chop. I say government go spend. So they will be spending that money. And they will also be giving a lot of money to poor people, which is why you always see them say they are giving rice here, they are giving conditional cash transfer, blah, 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 blah. So that, as I take, I give, so that go talk, say, no touch you. Then, infrastructure led, you're going to see a lot of roads being built. You're going to see a lot of infrastructure being built, whether it's on top of the water or in the air. You remember what we're here for? We're here for what? Opportunities. And as a real estate investor, if you have a leader or a government that has put infrastructure as a cornerstone to their own economic policy, there's no APC or PDP in that one. No. The only party that you're interested in is your what? Your pocket party. That's my own. So we say, hey, Calabar, Coastal Road. Okay, where did they pass? Which area? I don't know whether that ocean know. Which area? At least it must pass land. If now ocean self, you go buy land inside the ocean. Because people that bought Eco Atlantic 7 years ago, I know how much it is now. No be ocean a day. Now ocean now. Then you do a lot of reading and research. Because this is not a time, you're not an activist. Unless you are you Delifa? Is Delifa Moroti here? He's not here now. Abi? Or VDM, is he here? He's not here. He's not an activist. You're not an activist. You are an investor. But if you're an activist, be an activist, not a problem. But so long as is there activist here? Let me be sure. You can't carry me. But of course, reform-driven capitalism, these are big English, technocrats in government, you like to have them, and then economic nationality. So important that you know the kind of president that we have, and this is him. So, in summary, he's the most powerful president Nigeria has ever had, trust me. He is. So that means with that power, there's a lot that he can wield. Then, he's ruthlessly in charge. If you try and go and ask for Bara. They according to them, they said that he likes nepotism, that he likes to put his brothers there. It's not me that said that. That's what they said. Is it true? They say he likes to put his friends and family in government. And then, of course, he's focused on leaving a legacy. If there's one thing I'm very sure of, he wants to leave a positive legacy because he rides a lot on his ego. Again, you're reading this thing or you're listening to me as a what? Investor. Always separate it from your emotions. If you want to listen to me as an activist or as a person who is very caring about Nigeria, go out, you can watch Arise TV or Channels TV. You got all those there. Go just sit down in your room with your bar and your tea and be angry that say this today I want to vex. Just watch Arise TV or channels. It's okay. But here, you're here to do what? So I'm just pointing you to how you discern information in your favor. Because even those people like to cross carpet party. Abi? Today they are here, tomorrow they are here. Then you'll be there, killing yourself. Okay. Let's move on. I think there's too much story here. Now, this is Nigerian economy. I like to use this to gauge how our economy is. As you can see, there's plenty red. But it used to be all red before. But it's improving now. So, remember what I said about IMF? IMF say we grow at 3%, but we usually grow faster than that. Inflation rate magically dropped to 23, but we all know why. So, the indicators are still not too good. But what does it mean for some of us that are here? The ones that you want to always pay attention to is your GDP growth rate, your inflation rate, and your MPR rate. And of course, your exchange rate. Now, this MPR, in case you've not heard it before, it's called monetary policy rate, is the rate at which the central bank lends money to bank and borrows from bank. So when you hear that MPR is 27.5, if you want to go and collect a loan from a bank, just add 10% to that money. What does it come to? 37.5. That's it. Simple. So everybody is waiting for this MPR number to drop. Especially for the young people here who still have time on their side to collect a mortgage. You can't collect a mortgage at this sort of rate. But it's not going to be like this forever.
Singapore gave at the rate of 6% per annum.
Singapore? Are we in Singapore? You won't go there? Exactly. But he's correct. It's even cheaper in the UK. It's even cheaper in UK. Most countries, yes. The question is, why are we here? We are 27 because of what? Inflation. Now, remember what I said about the president and what he wants to do. And that's what I check. The president has been giving them pressure to try and reduce this number. But unfortunately, or fortunately, Cardoso is not Emefiele. So Cardoso is stubborn. So Cardoso is sticking to this. Back to what I said again. Sorry. No worry, we are coming. I know you saw that one. Back to what I said. He does technocrats in governance. Tinubu always liked technocrats in governance, people that at least are smart. You respect him, but you have to be smart. So he knows. But the fact that he also wants this number to be better and he wants a legacy means that there's pressure on them. And I've seen them. I've seen the Minister of Finance. The man has even lost weight. Looking older than before. I saw you, the worker. It's under pressure as well because he has to reduce this number. So all of us here have to be tracking it. It went up last month, which was a bit of a concern to me. But you see, this number has to go down. Because the moment it goes down, we all have to go to the bank and borrow to invest in real estate. Because it's first come, first serve. So you cannot say you're not tracking that number. You have to track it very well.
The president is responsible for the number going on.
It might be. Might be. Some people say it's because of fuel subsidy removal, but you know what? That's long. But these are things that he had to do.
It's policies.
There are things that he had to do. He had no choice.
The government policies.
I don't know whether this is your condition, but this is not my condition in my house. We eat better than this in my house, but I hear this is some people's condition. As at last year. It's not funny, but this is a tuber of yam. People decide which one they want to eat on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Again, what does this mean? This again speaks to my point. The consumer has done what? Has changed. People are no longer wasteful. People are not wasteful. And you know the funny thing, people say they want to travel, they want to go abroad, they want to jackpot. It's not easy. Over there, they don't waste food. I don't know whether you've gone to anybody's house abroad before. They give you food, no finish, and the person will just be looking at you like this. They'll not tell you anything. No. The next day, they will not just give you food. Am I lying? They'll not give you food. Maybe they sleep. Maybe in the morning, you know, in Nigeria, you forget yourself. You say, make I enjoy this AC for them, take light. You know, they don't used to take light there. You now go and oversleep to 8, off bulb. Barry for you, be that. Cold will kill you that night because they were not on the heater for you. So, because they've always had market reforms in those economies for long, which we're just starting to have now. The difference, and that's where next Nigeria is going to go to, and let's all be gearing up for it. Income will have to go up. Look at this slide. Look at this is people that were earning 250,000 naira in 2014. See the equivalent in dollars. How much is that? 1,260, Abi? Okay, so let's go to this table. So for you to be earning 1,260, this is close to it, right? In 23, you should be earning what? So if you're earning 2 million, then you can see it is what? 1,200 in 24. So 2 million in 2024 is equivalent of what? 250,000 in what? 2014. In just 10 years. Buhari Trisha. But this is the income, and this is your point to GDP per capita. Because GDP per capita has been going down. So, but it then means that it cannot continue to stay like this for long. Income has to do what? Go up. It has to go up. That's why they increase minimum wage. I've spoken to some people in government and they are saying that all these banks and companies that are declaring massive profits, they also have to start to increase salaries of their employees. Content. Because this is our 2025 budget, let me don't depress you by looking at this one. These are public debt. Let me don't depress you as well. You can divide this by 200 million so that you can get your own portion. It's not easy hard. Just carry calculator. Divide it by 200 million. You know how much your own portion is as a Nigerian. And see, they want to add more, 13 trillion. They want to add this year. In fact, it's likely going to be more because this budget was based on 75 what? Per barrel. Now is what? 61. I was speaking to somebody today and the person says that the exchange rate is likely going to be 2,000 naira. And I asked him why. And he says, look at what is happening to oil price. And when he was saying it, my heart was beating fast because when the exchange rate was 500 naira 3 years ago, and he told me it will hit 1,000, I bet with him that it's not possible, and I lost the bet because he told me. I met one man recently in December. I said, Mr. Ugodre, I've been following you for so many years. I really like your analysis. The only thing I do not like, he's an Igbo man, he said, is that you think that the exchange rate will be strong one day. It will not be strong, my brother. It will not be strong. I said, why do you say that, sir? Because I have been buying it for the last 10 years. In fact, I don't even do any business again. My business is exchange rate. I just buy dollars every day. That he has bought over $2 million and it's just in his house. I don't know whether he's serious or not, but he looked very serious. Again, this is also because people know how to consume information and turn it into opportunities. You can consume information and you can turn it into anger and you'll be cursing the president and cursing everybody in this world. Or you consume the information and you make what you can out of it. It all depends on us. But my point to you is, as I'm here explaining these things, be looking for opportunities because I'm dropping as much as I can. So, what do I think is going to happen? I think you're going to see more currency volatility. You'll be seeing this exchange rate go from 1.4 to 1.6 to 1.5. It will be happening. Be tracking it. Be tracking it. I always say as well, even if it's 100K you have or whatever, just as much as possible, diversify your portfolio. Whatever it is you want to buy in December, if you have the money now, you better buy it now. I've already told you oil price is going down. Exchange rate is likely to go higher as well. Trump tariff is it hasn't started kicking in, but it's going to kick in very soon. And when it kicks in, cost of goods and services across the world will start to go up. So if you know you need to, maybe you're someone who imports things, you need to import things, or you have a child, you want to pay school fees, or you want to pay your own school fees. Yes, now. You have to start to plan early because all these things all have implications for you. But before this exchange rate, before this Trump problem, I actually think that things were beginning to stabilize. Prices are not going higher as much as they used to, at least this year. Last year, you go to the market, they'll tell you this water is 100 naira. You come back 2 weeks later, they tell you it's 200. Every week, it was as if it was. But now, things seem to have been stable. Because you know what's going to happen, which is the point of market reforms, when everybody starts to compete, because there's no longer subsidy. So the advantage that some people have is not possible anymore. Imagine that you live in an area where because light the day there, and you're now selling this water for 300 naira. Me, I'm living in an area where there is no light. I'm selling it for 500 naira. What happened? I'm losing, you're gaining. What will now happen is that you will now increase your water to 500. Because Nigerian businessmen or businessmen around the world are not, they're not there to pity anybody. They are there to make maximum profit. But now that electricity is almost the same price everywhere, is that advantage still there? No. So he will have to compete with me. So the prices most likely will come down, and that's what's going to happen. As people compete and the level playing field is, because before, if you know somebody in CBN, they will give you dollar at 400. Meanwhile, you're a business person, you go and buy in black market at 7. How can you compete with that person? Meanwhile, that person selling at 400 will not set the price high for you. But now everybody has an equal level playing field. A lot of us actually predicted 2025 will be a lot better than 2024. But until that Baba came in January to peace on top of the world. And now we see the effect. Everybody is trying to plot because nobody knows what it means. Already, you've seen our exchange rate that was already dropping to like 1.5. It went back to what? 1.6. Some people saw it and bought LEO. Some people bought at that 1.5, 1.4 because they knew what was coming. So we'll come into real estate. Now, what is very interesting is I told my team in Nairametrics to give me trends from the news we cover. And as we can see, it appears there's a lot of projects. Remember I talked about infrastructure projects. Maybe you guys are not hearing. There are so many projects across the country on real estate. Even me, I started wondering, like, what's going on here? This is where they are using to wash money now. There's so many projects. This is Block Mold Association calls for lower import duties. FG to launch mortgage finance facility to construct 25,000 homes. Renewed home project. FG wants contractors, construction workers, on and on and on. There's no day, there's no news about projects, development. No day. And this is also because the Nigerian economy is changing. Think about it, guys. We have blue line now, Abi? And we have blue and red. Very soon there's going to be green and purple. What do you think is going to happen to Lagos? By the time you have green, red, purple, blue, Lagos is going to change. People are going to come to work from Ogun State to VI. They don't need to live in VI. People are going to live in Badagry and come to work in Lekki. It's just a train. Lagos is not big. There's nowhere in Lagos without traffic that you drive 1 hour to get to anywhere. I said without traffic, because with traffic can be 6 hours. But without traffic, nowhere is far. So what does that mean for the demographics? And then guess what? Nigeria has an average population age of 17. So the young people that are coming have a different idea about real estate, about infrastructure. These are people who want to look good. You know, this Gen Z, they don't have stress. They don't want your stress. They want their soft life. They don't come here to come and follow you and suffer. It's not because of them that Nigeria is like this. Imagine you give Gen Z person train. You no go buy car now. Just needs his 1-bedroom flat that has all the FEZ that he needs. They don't even used to watch TV again, Seth. Everything is on their phone and laptop. So when you're going at the days when you're designing a house, you leave one wall, big wall for TV. Better put wall for picture where they can snap picture. Because they're not going to watch that TV. Yes. I already described Nigerian consumer to you, so it's up to you to figure that out. But my point is that you also have to realize that you're building for a generation that has a different consumption pattern. So you have to do a lot of survey. So when you're a developer, you need to ask them, what do you like? If you tell your child now to, just as some of us don't tell our children, but tell your child, design your room. You'll be shocked what your child will design. They will design a room and they will not even add TV inside it because of how they consume. So imagine Lagos with all these rails and co, with all this development popping up. What you're going to see is clusters of neighborhoods around the country, around Lagos and across the country. At some point, demand for housing will be very high in Lagos, then to start to spill into other states. Because as all the other states, with all these projects that I said here coming up, you're going to see all the other states also demanding real estate projects to pop up. And when an economy is growing like Nigeria, especially a market-based economy, real estate is always a safe bet. Because regardless of what you like, people are going to want to live somewhere, isn't it? People would always need housing. Initially it might be in Lagos, but it's going to go beyond Lagos as well. This is Nigeria's real estate GDP size, 16.2 trillion. The only problem is that you can see bank credit to real estate is very small because banks are not really funding real estate that much. Our own mortgage bank is not mortgage bank. It's not mortgage bank at all. It's your head and neck they are looking for. But what you do as a smart person, especially if you're a young person, all you need to do is just look for your 20% equity or 25% equity. You should take a mortgage. To take that mortgage, when you take that mortgage and you say they give you the mortgage 20 years, let them give you the 25% interest rate. What you want to do is move into that house first or own that property first. Because the values of properties in Nigeria also go as high as the interest rates you pay. I don't really understand. In countries where interest rate is 2.5%, 3%, the value of the house does not go up that high. But in Nigeria, it compensates. So because interest rate is high, property houses go up. It doesn't mean you should go and buy a house in Mowe or in Ajangbadi and think that the house property values will go high like Lekki. The locations are different. Mowe can be future. I'll get to that in a bit. There are some housing investments you do is land banking. You're betting on the future. But if you're looking for immediate returns, that is exponential, there are some areas you go to where you have a lot of people that have demand for those kind of houses. So real estate has challenges. I don't want to talk too much about the challenges so that I don't scare them what they are. These are just challenges. Maybe I'll make this possible for you guys. But government is also trying to do its own to solve it, which is some of the things that you have here. So let's go into I say I came loaded for you people, but there's no time. So I read this report from my friends. They are called Buy Let Leave. I don't know how you heard of them before. Yeah, so they do send reports to us at Nairametrics, and I think this was a very good report. And in this report, they were looking at several states and how well they are doing real estate-wise. And what is interesting, as you can see, Lagos State, according to them, rental apartments seems to be growing faster. Short let is coming pretty fast now in terms of returns. And then rental house, sale apartment, and then land. You can see the growth. Is that not faster than interest rate?
Yes.
Which is what I told you. So again, this is all about numbers, because sometimes when you see 30%, you'll be afraid. I have a friend who once told me that his biggest problem is not his rising cost. He said his problem is not because things are expensive. Go, that's not my problem. If things let it be galloping, so long as my sales is galloping faster. So I focus my energy on my sales, because expense, I cannot control it. But sales, I can control that one. And that's what this is telling you as well, because you can see that your real estate values are growing higher. And this in Lagos. Now you come to FCT as well. For those who might want to be interested in FCT, you can see rental apartments, house that they are selling is next. You can see that every location has its own peculiarities. So shortlet is not high up in Abuja because it's FCT. But in Lagos, shortlet is what? It's fast. So if you go and invest in Abuja now, you'll not be angry with your developer saying, my shortlet, they sell. Because nobody they do shortlet there now. You have to follow the data. So if you invest, so you have to understand the market that you're putting your money in. And also, if you want to invest in a real estate in Abuja, you go for rent, or you go, because rent in Abuja is what? It's high. So rent is probably the best bet for you, or you buy and sell. But shortlet, you're going to have a lot of empty days where there's nobody in there. The interesting thing about this report is that the report even goes further down into the cities. Each city has its own, peculiarities as well. Just that there's no time, so I couldn't bring all those things here. This is River State as well. You can see shortlet is towards the end in River State. It's more of sale. So apartment sale, maybe 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom sale, or an entire house, and then rent comes next. Another problem too is purchasing power, because there are some locations that people don't have money to be paying rent. So it's probably better to sell. So who are the people you're selling to? Maybe the oil and gas people, the politicians. They are not going to rent, they will buy. So if you're investing in River State, then this is what you should be looking at. I just picked some states. They had for almost all the states, and this is Enugu. You can see, Enugu is what? Land. Why do you think land is what is raining? Because Igbos like to build their own house. So the man want to build his house or build hotel. Igbos like to build hotel. You know how many hotels I have? I have 5 hotels. So they like to build hotel. So land is selling faster there than rental apartments, then rental house. You can see where shortlet is towards the end. I don't know why land is here again. Repeated it, but land is first thing. And then Kano, rental house. See shortlet is go do shortlet for Kano. Now you sabi. Can see. That is Kano. There. And then Ogun State. There's nothing in Ogun State, so you cannot do shortlet in Ogun State. Is there anything there? It is just you go there and stay in a hotel and come back. But you can see it's mostly rental house, sale apartments. Very important that you understand these things about where you're investing in. So you just don't throw money into places. You have to understand, because every city, every state has its own peculiar. Again, like I said, in that report, if you go into Lagos State, they will not break down per area, per location. There are some locations that if you go and do shortlet there, it's only you that will be staying in that place. Nobody will follow you and live there. There are some places too that there's so much short let, it's probably better for you to do rental. Then there are some investments that if you're a diaspora, short let might not be the best thing for you because you probably don't have the time to managing the day-to-day activity. I have friends who started with short let, they stopped doing it because the problem was too much for them. They will be in the office, and you know this time zone difference. They will be in the office, agent to call them, sir, the pipe has burst again. The person has meeting that is discussing with his Oyibo. Oyibo will like, what are you talking about? Sorry, sir. What pipe? What pipe is that? Which of the locations? We call it, hey, sir. They say they saw a rat in the room, so we have to fumigate. The kind of things that you don't used to hear in other crime. So they say they are tired. The problem is too much. So I want to rent. Let me rent and stay in peace. Do you understand? Because all of them heard that, there's money in short let because of dirty December. They think that's how it is the whole year. Sir, some Yahoo boys came today. We did not know that they were Yahoo, but they now caught them. Somebody that's in London that is thinking of how you feed it. You go and pick his child from school. You're now calling him in the afternoon that Yahoo boys was in his apartment. But here in Nigeria, we can deal with that wahala. I say, they come. I go show them something today. You enter your car, you drive there with your army, with your soldier. And you go. But the person in London cannot do that. If it calls the brother says, they say you should bring 100, they say you should bring 150,000. How much are you collecting in the room? So there are some things that you also have to be wary of when you're investing. Okay, so I'll soon be done. So I also try to dimension the kind of opportunities that some of us should be looking at. Okay? I wasn't sure what the demographic here was like, but I said, you know what, let me just do as much as I can. So if you're looking to be a potential homeowner, you just want to own your house, jeje, and you don't want wahala, then off-plan purchases is always the best. I always tell people it's the best. Just go and if they tell you off-plan, bring 20%, 10%, go and find it and give them. See, one thing I've realized that once you drop down money, the rest will come. Somehow. Because your spirit is connected to that. You live for it. You start to prioritize it. Okay? And so you can start. I wish I knew this several years ago. Only God knows how many properties I would have. Because everyone then, when they're marketing off plan to me, I say, but I never get. It's not time. Because at that time, when what you're thinking about is buying a car, our own generation then, the way they trained us is after school, go and find work. When you get work, buy a car. After school, go and find work. When you get work, rent flat, 2-bedroom flat. When I rent 2-bedroom flat, you now buy one small car. You buy that Tokumbo car. Or if you're Nigerian use, Honda Hala, that time, once you buy Honda Hala like this, you don't start life. You buy the Honda Hala, then you now marry, you now born, you now put your child for school, you now buy another car for your wife. You now move out from Aguda, you now go to the main Surulere. From Surulere, you now move. That's the trajectory of our generation. But this current generation, it's not like that too. They can be 40, no married, nothing. They have to be all right. On Instagram and on TikTok and everywhere. They have to have traveled around the world. Their Pali passport need to have been stamped. Born waiting. When I never travel. I never go Canada. How? You have to. Do you understand? Exactly. I wish I knew that then. So the point is now, they will invest. Once they give you your money. So how do you get this money? Mortgage banks, like I said, do not see it as a bad, don't let that interest rate deter you. Once you're qualified, all you need to ask yourself is whether you're qualified. Once you're qualified, go for it, please. Go for it. Get the house first, then you can worry later how you pay it. Okay? Then, from your staff bonuses, because some people say, how do I pay for it? Staff bonuses, profit share, windfalls. Maybe somebody, your girlfriend dash you money, or your boyfriend dash you money. All is windfall. It's true now. Should be Birkin bag. Is it not $3,000? No be 6 million be that. Can you not pay deposit? Francis? It will pay now for land. All this land banking. You have bought already, but they'll go and buy Birkin bag or go and buy Louis Vuitton. Meanwhile, there's no money in their pocket. Or Bone Street or whatever. Or latest iPhone. No money, oh. iPhone 16 Plus. I be Pro Max Plus. I they call them. Everything is Pro Max, whatever. Is 2 point something million. I mean 3. Exactly. You bought for somebody before. Okay. 3 million. So imagine, and there are men that are buying 3 for their girlfriends. Buy 3. Yes. There are women say that collect 3 from different people. By the time you add the money, that's windfall. So if you're here in this hall, windfall. So have that at the back of your mind. You don't have to wait because someone will say, this economy is so bad, we can't collect loan. Where will I see the money to deposit? Windfall. It's there. Bonus, profit share, loan to get your own, to be your own homeowner. Please, so long as you have a job or a business that gives you income stream, that's all you need to show them. Income stream, consistent income stream. They will work out that loan. And you know the funny thing, the current government, I mentioned about the government as well. There's also NMRC bank loans. There's NHF loans. There are a lot of loans that are being packaged. So you should also talk to your developers or people like Poshfield to help you access those kind of facilities. Because they exist. There are people accessing them. If we put the same kind of energy we used to put to get visa, to get loan for house, you know, if you want to get visa, there's nobody you not pay. Plus the passport, where you're even going to do the passport. From there, that's when you started paying. Until you now go and you've even, in fact, the process of getting visa, you even pay for the school that they used to go. Right? There's school now that they go to train you for how to get Canada visa. When you now finish paying for that school, you now apply for the visa. You now pay to help you fill the form because the mistake is to be inside that filling form. You now pay. I mean, if people don't know, that's the code though. For those that they've been denying. Then, if you're a local individual investor, maybe you already have a house or you're not looking to live in that house. You just want to buy a house that you can rent. Direct ownership. You can fund it from there. Of course, opportunities here is buy-to-let apartments. You can buy for, particularly the ones for, they can rent out to students. It's a good investment. There's short-let, Airbnb, I already mentioned some states. And then land banking, which means, for example, you know that they are doing Lagos Calabar Highway, or they want to do. Should be people are the ones that mention red line and be purple line. You every day you be arguing. They do purple line. What does it mean to you? What's the land in that area like? I remember when I had Dangote refinery land. I bought it that time. We were waiting for the refinery. I said we go wait. They wait. Make it come. We sold it at like 10 times the amount. That's land banking. Because it's money you don't need now, but you're betting that some kind of development will catch up with that area. I remember what I said, we're all in an information world now. So you're asking yourself, this purple line, where you go pass? They say you go pass Lekki phase 1. Lekki phase 1. Where else did they go? They'll be describing to you till you get to where your pocket reach. So long as it's not inside Cameroon. But you get to where your pocket reach and you what? You buy and you wait too because it should be the road will pass there. And the funny thing with infrastructure development is that once development passes an area, land prices go up. It always happens. Yeah. And so you need to be fixated on where this infrastructure development is happening. And of course, if you're a diaspora person, maybe particularly for those who are online, who may be in diaspora, build to sell or build to rent. Short let is hard. I don't know why they are doing it too. Because all of them are complaining now. They thought it was simple. It's not easy. It's not. Then, of course, commercial real estate, malls, office blocks, solid investment, especially if you're a diaspora Nigerian. Solid investment, no hassles. The money will just be coming in for you. And what do? Partner with reputable people, like the likes of Porsche. Partner with them to give you your development, and then you start to make your money. Okay? This is for diaspora investors. Not you. Are you with diaspora? Diaspora. Eh? You're inspira. All right. Okay. I think I. All right. Then investment clubs, because it's also a very good way of investing. People who belong to, associations. So long as it's not the type of the MMM one that you talked about. What was very interesting is when you were talking about MMM is that most Ponzi scheme. The funny thing, I always know something is a Ponzi scheme. The people who are investing in Ponzi scheme, they're always very passionate, and they always used to find an example. The way they will be defending that thing, you would think that it's their father that owns it. I remember the days of non-specto. Do you remember that on non-specto? Yes. Remember I was talking to one guy, and the funny thing is that these are people who go into school. It's not like they are mechanic. They go school. They get masters. So when they are defending, they defend it with Queen's English. I see their bosses. These guys, they produce oil for export. I say, So, simple question. Why is the guy, who are you that they are coming to you to collect, and they're giving you 40%? Why? Why would somebody give you 40% every month? Like, how? Do you know? They're just simple, basic questions that do not tell you that is the model. That's the business model. It's astronomical returns. Irony. Same thing. With all of them, that's the story. They will use all. So once anything you see the easiest way to know a Ponzi, anybody that tells you, give me money, I will give you 10% return every month is a Ponzi. Just is a Oleni. It's not possible. Let the person use his money, because I'll just go to the bank and borrow money at 5%, Abi, and do it. What do I need your money for? Anybody that tells you 10%, and in fact, even 5% and above, 5% monthly and above, that's a Ponzi. Easily. So if you like, speak grammar, speak everything every month. That's not how life works. Okay, so for investment clubs, always have to set up a legal vehicle, because we've seen investment club where it's your turn to collect the money. You now jackpot, you carry the money and go and do your jackpot, you run. Your fellow contributors will not know that you have gone. So you have to have very good legal backing for it, and then you can do JVs with developers as an investment club, because a lot of people who are in that club are savvy. People have different responsibilities, so there's a lot more security. Now, the good thing about this is also a smart way of owning an asset, especially for people who have never owned an asset before. You can be 10 of you and 20 of you and own an asset. Now, as much as the asset is not in your name, the value that you get from eventually selling that asset, you can use to invest in another asset of your own. It's basically just pooling funds. Think about it. That's how the global economy works. A car that is worth, or a house that is worth 20 million, you probably might not be able to afford it because you only have 5. But if it's 4 of you, then you can afford it because you've now combined and it's 20 million, and you start to earn. That's how you have to think about it. It's all about opportunities. So think about it. Let's assume that there's a house that is valued at 100 million, or let's say there's a business that is valued at 100 million, and that business delivers 30% returns. So that means that business will deliver what? 30 million, right? But you only have 20 million. That means you can't invest in that business. But if there are 5 of you and you come together and you put your money in that business, then you invest in that business, and you guys make 30 million. Okay? So that means what comes to you? 6 million. You see that? That's the power of pooled investment. But if you don't get people that can join you, then you lose 6 million. Simple. So that is why you should always encourage. But please, when you're doing investment club, don't go and check. First of all, check whether that person is married. Check whether that person has visited immigration or gone to do visa. There are certain things that you can know from pattern, people's pattern. Check whether that person has asked for his bank statement 6 months. There are certain things you start to notice. You know that this guy is planning something. Do you understand? It's true. Me, I'm always very careful. Once I see somebody start to ask for 6 months, they travel. No. Okay. I'm watching you. Do you see their patterns? And all of a sudden, the person has sold his car. Don't want you or the other. Come on. Something is going on. So that's the only thing you have to be careful about when it comes to this. And then family offices. This one is fairly new. This is for people who are extremely rich. Extremely rich people usually have family offices, but I don't want to talk about that here. But this is also opportunities for them as well. And this is how they can usually invest. There are a lot of people that invest in properties in Dubai, outside the country, United States. They are very wealthy, and so they can seize that opportunity. You know what's very interesting about being rich? When you're rich, you just get richer. I know someone who bought a property he has properties in the US and just went to Dubai on a vacation. And guess what? Because of the fact that he has properties in the US, they offered him $1 million property, interest-free loan. You don't say as God they punish poor people. Interest. You know, when we were here, they're telling us to bring 30%. Interest-free loan. All he needs to do is just put his house in America as part of the mortgage. Interest-free loan for the first 2 years. And then commitment not to sell the house in 5 years because the house value is going to go up. And that's how you own the house in Dubai. So now he travels to Dubai once a year to just go and see the property and come. It's because he's waiting for 5 years so that he can sell. You will all get there in Jesus' name. All right, so that is it. Thank you very much. I think I've spent more than my time.